So to start out the program, you're going to add in your folder name, a project name, you're going to give it a ceiling height, width, and then you're going to pick the shape of the material that you're going to be using. You will say its size, and then you'll pick the pattern you want it, and you can do the rotation. All this is the same if you've used the program before. So then the tile pattern is in the background and you can move it around. I've already completed all of the following steps for this drawing just so that it can go faster, but the project doesn't have any pre-drawn rooms or templates in it for you to start off with. We have objects in the menus. I use blank walls, these just simple blank shapes. I touch on them first. So say, for example, I'm wanting to create a 36-inch wide shower. I then engage the measure tool, and then I can change the width to 36 inches. So if I come over here and I change that to 36 inches, then this gives me the outline that I need to know how wide that is. So if this is 36 inches and I have 36 inches for a toilet, and then I have 36 inches for a vanity, and I can just kind of use these blank objects to put items in where they're supposed to go. And also these work great as color overlays because you can fill them with color, change the opacity, and color the items, right? So I could say if I want to make the whole shower this peach color, it would go over the tile here. I would send it to the background, and then that way I now have this peach color for all of the tile in this drawing. So each one of these opens up and you'll have appliances which have kitchen hoods, cooktops, ranges, ovens, all those items that are in that you'll have as a black and white line drawing, and then you can color fill it. We have cabinets, we have countertop shapes, but you have your vanities, and then you have base cabinets and upper cabinets. This is going to be your decorative tile, which will give you some niches and some picture frames, right? Because you're going to need some liners to go around things. So say, for example, I have this picture frame right here, and maybe it's for a niche and it's going to be white. And if you want white, just touch right here and it automatically fills with white. And if not, you can go into the swatching and look for your previous colors that you've used. So the swatch has been updated. You can even type into this box here what hex code you want. So now we have, so you have a niche, you have these picture frame details. You can see here, this is something that I just took and background removed and put into the drawing to do the shower set. So we have lighting, plumbing, and then just generalized shapes. These are all things that you can use to help lay out tile or the design for a basic bathroom. This is an image of a wallpaper from the internet, and it was just brought in through the camera. And these light fixtures right here are from Cesarac Stitches out of New Orleans. I like their stuff. And these are images off of their website, and then the background remover was used to be able to put it into the space. So you can use this program to show wallpapers, fabrics. It goes ahead and lays out all of your patterns to size if you're doing tile drawings for kitchens, bathrooms, shower walls, fireplace walls. But it will also allow you, like for example, this is a vanity from Pottery Barn. You can go into your camera roll, grab an object. So if we're in the camera roll and we want to add in an object, so I'm gonna grab one of these really pretty, aren't these great, brass switch plate gang plates from Duval. So I'm gonna grab that. I just cropped it now, so it crops in the program, and then you can also background remove it if you need to. You see after you crop it, this is when you have the opportunity to background remove. So I'm just gonna show this really quick. You have subtract here, so I can take this off, or I can add it back in. It has the magic quick select, but it also has a brush. If you want to use the brush, you can change the size. of your brush, the hardness, and the opacity of the brush. So you can take anything that you need. Like if it's a tile that has an interesting shape, if it is light fixtures, artwork, a sculpture, your accessories on a shelf, any of that stuff you can add right on in. In fact, I've even used cabinets from the online catalogs. So now I have the switch, the gang plate, and I can just reduce its size manually with the corner, or if I wanted to have the exact, I can type it in here. And anytime you want to engage the measuring tool, you need to have selected the object first. So you can see I already have one in over here. So you can see this room is made up now of from the decorative tile. This is a picture frame. This would be like what you would use to put on the face frame of a niche. This is something I pulled off of the internet. This is an item from the app. You can tell because we can color it whatever shade we want. And then this is the photograph of a slab countertop. This is a vanity cabinet I found online, and the background removed it. These are light fixtures from off of the internet, and so is the wallpaper. So you can use your camera roll to kind of curate the items that you're going to put into the drawing, but you can draw it to scale. So I can add in a light fixture from the internet to size. I can add in a mirror from Anthropology to size. So all those things go onto the wall to size, and it's to scale so that we can work with it for specifying and for anybody to build it. So here's another feature that is new. So here you can see we have two new features. So we're going to talk about this feature. This is to create an additional tile drawing. So what I want to do is I just want to create a 12-inch tall by 36, because the shower was 36 inches, band of penny tile, and add that in. So we're just going to do a 1-inch penny tile. So now you have access to tile by size to whatever pattern you want to have it made to. So if you want to, indicate what your shower floor is in this picture, if you want to do a tile baseboard across the whole thing, you can now quickly generate a shape that you would want to work with, right? So it's still modifiable. You can just stretch it, whatever you need to do to put it into the space, but it will give you a 12-inch by 36-inch band of 1-inch tile. And that way you could fill the inside of a niche, you could add accent banding, and you can just create multiple. So if I wanted to show this shower to have a penny tile baseboard, and then possibly as a detail along the top, I would just duplicate this one that I already drew because they're the same size. I could put it up here at the top of the shower, and then what I would do is send it to back and send this one to back, and they're all underneath that color that's on there. And these are kind of fun. I kind of like these pictures. Wouldn't these be neat to have as like a detail? Okay, so we've got shapes, sizes, tile, multiple levels of tile, and then the next thing we have is that you can draw on this. So if at this point you have all of your objects in and they're to size and you would like to draw on it, so if you want to add some additional things, this is a highlighter, you have a pencil here, you have a marker here, we have a eraser, we have a blurring, and then you also have a ruler that'll pop in and you can add lines. We just want to remember that whenever we're working in this layer and you create an object, that object is going to operate just as anything else would. So we're going to start off. This is now in here as an object. It's measurable, and it's in the drawing, right? So this is measurable. It is stretchable here, and it is rotatable. So if we make an object, we hand draw an object here, it's going to behave just like this. If you draw a bunch here and a bunch here, you're going to end up with a large selection box for that one object, and everything in that box is going to move around as one unit. So how would something like this be helpful? I find hardware and small things to draw onto the pictures to be difficult, right? It's hard to work with small things, but it's easier to just draw it on. So here I'm going to use, now I can add some hardware easily, right? So I can just add 2 things here, you know, maybe there's something here and there's something here. So what's going to happen is all of these items are going to behave as one. So now that I'm no longer in the pencil drawing, you can see I now have everything I just drew all in its own selection box. It can be rotated, stretched, or thrown away. So it's going to behave, anything you drew is going to behave exactly like an object from the menu. So you can throw these items away, you can stretch them, you can make them bigger, and you can move them and slide them out of the way. One of the things I'd like to let you know whenever you're using the program is that it is best to do any drawing on top of your object later in the process, because when you draw on the object and you have multiple items in these like larger windows, you will accidentally move it, or it will be kind of in the way. The only way to describe it is like if I overlaid a whole sheet of paper over this drawing, you would just, and then it was moving around the whole time. So you want to just use this as your last step. So that way, when you move on to the next phase, you can do whatever you need to do. And you don't have to worry about when you're wanting to touch the wallpaper, accidentally engaging that new object that has the hardware on it. See how that's just sitting here on top? It's just a nice little fine layer that we have in here. So then now that you've seen the new feature of being able to create your own tile drawing and tile object, and you have the ability to draw on or create things, we also have the ability to draw on this in a different way. So I want to show you both ways. I wanted to explain this is nice to have on this screen for certain reasons, but you may want to draw on the drawing without interfering on any of the objects. So now that we're in this next layer, this is frozen. This is not going to move. You're not going to accidentally move anything. Everything on here is going to stay where it's going to stay. And when you're here, you can now draw on the drawing, and this operates like a piece of paper. So you're no longer in this screen going to create an object that can be moved around and measured, thrown away in the trash, or any of those things. And this, you're drawing on it as if all the features are the same of the pencil. In this layer, you're drawing on it as if you are drawing on a piece of paper. You now have access to area outside of the drawing. You can do more detail that you will want. You know, you can add like, oh, it's, you know, like there's a light fixture and it's shining light and everything's sparkly and there's a little bit of light or whatever, right? So everything is adjustable. You can change the width, you can change the color, right? All of this is on here, but it's not movable. It's not adjustable. It doesn't operate like the last screen. This screen is now a drawing screen. So this one is just going to allow you to draw on the object. So that way you can make notes and do whatever you would like to do. And then we have, so also let me just show you a few more things that go with the pencil function. So you are going to have a ruler, which is fun because you can, you know, add a little bit of detail here or there. You can add, like I said, some highlights, some glisten, whatever you want to do, just like in the marker days when we were all in college. But this is a really nice thing. You have the access to, so you want to click on your ruler to go away. You can access to each one of those steps that you drew. You can just undo it or redo it. Okay, so this is going to operate like a normal pencil. It's very fun. I'm excited about it. Also, your function and access to your pencil can move. So if you're left-handed and you don't want to reach up here because then you're interfering with what you're doing, you can access it down here, slide it up, minimize it. It's got a lot of nice built-in features into it. Okay, so now you have access to the pencil. You can draw on it, or if you want to, you don't want to back out, you just erase everything you drew on it. And remember, this is fixed now. You are not going to accidentally bump something. You are not going to accidentally move something, and you don't have to worry about anything going somewhere it shouldn't. So this is really nice. The second thing you can do in this screen is add your dimension lines. Okay, let me show you how to dimension in Design Appy. So the first thing that you do is that you will pick your first point. So then I'll pick down here and it'll produce a dimension line. So do you see that red circle pop up? And then I'm going to touch down here and then it'll automatically give me this. If I don't like it, I can undo it and get rid of it if I feel like it was just like slightly off. But there you go. So now this will just dimension for you so that you can dimension all the things you need to. So the things you need to dimension are, where is that electrical box going to be for that light fixture? Where, how high is that countertop? How thick is that countertop material? How wide do you want the shower to be? How tall of a band of tile do you want to have here? So you'll just touch. And, I sometimes have issues when my whole hands are on the screen of it initiating, but as long as you're kind of conscious about that, you shouldn't have any issues. But sometimes if the resistance of hand engagement might need to adjust that on your screen if you feel like it doesn't engage immediately. So once again, you can undo the dimension lines that you put in if they are not what you want. People that are doing this are creating something as a visual for a client, and they also have their dimension lines available that you can put on so that you can have it built. So what we wanted to do is allow you to be able to see the dimension lines if you want to, or just click on the pencil again and they will go away. So you could have the dimension lines there and ready for you, but not necessarily going to show up on any of the other forms. So just if you want to see your dimension lines, move on to the next screen with your dimension lines on. If you do not want to see your dimension lines, so we're going to go back a screen. If you do not want to see the dimension lines, so you can see we have no dimension lines here, you hit, and you will not have your dimension lines on the spec, so you don't have to worry about it. We've upgraded this so you have more spaces for photographs. So you can load up to 9. This is for your logo. This allows you to type in the technical information, like what's the grout that you picked out? What's the actual size of the tile? Who's the manufacturer? Where do you order it? Any of the detail information if it needs to be sealed. You can just, and any of that information. You can include the photographs of your product that you're planning on using. So you have like wallpapers, cabinets, mirrors, light fixtures, all that stuff is going to be here. And then when you go to spec and save, you can see the formats that we can send out now. So we have 3 formats now, not just one. So with vertical, you have access to 6 photographs. You'll have your project description up here and just some of the detail information that you typed in. So you have it on hand because this way you can record everything. We have the horizontal format. So if horizontal works better for you with your spec book or how you specify. And then we now have storyboard. So storyboard is just going to give you a project description and an approval square, and then it'll give you the picture that you drew and this information. And remember, all you have to do is go back one screen, hit the dimension function, and it will put the dimension lines on these same drawings for you if you want to send them off to contractors and other people who you don't mind it having all of that additional busyness on it, something that you may not want your client to see. So that's what they look like. This is what the formats are, and you can just click here and email out your specs that you just made.